Good morning, hope everybody's very well and happy and healthy this morning. This morning I thought I would try and make some cold brew. We don't get a great deal of shimmeringly beautiful weather up here. We do get it from time to time, but not every day. The sun's out today. It's going to be reaching the balmy heights of about 7 or 8 degrees. And so I thought today might be a good day to practice our cold brew making. I'm just doing my morning tag list, trying to see who wants to watch this morning, and yeah, let's do that. Good morning, Ricardo, how are you? And I'm going to share. I did have a particular request from him. There we go. Super. Perfect. Morning, everyone. Right, so the sun is going to be out today. Believe it or not, we're going to get maybe 4-5 hours of sunshine. The weather is going to be up to 6, maybe 7 degrees today. So let's practice our cold brew because it's the weekend. There are a number of things you can do with cold brew that are really, really good. You can stick it in your fridge and just drink it as a refreshing cold drink. Or you can make a little bit of a concentrate and use this for all of your espresso martini needs. You can get fairly sophisticated equipment to make cold brew with, and lots of people will talk to you about nitro and stuff like that. But in all honesty, you can make cold brew really, really easily. There's not a lot of barriers to making cold brew work. Morning, Ellie. Morning, Alex. Morning, Carol. Hope everyone's well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from the most sophisticated piece of cold brew kit in my arsenal through to the least sophisticated cold brew kit in my arsenal. So the first thing I've got is my Hario cold brewer, which is this interesting looking contraption here. What this fundamentally is a glass bottle with a rubber lid, and inside the rubber lid you can put your filter. Now I've pre-filled this with some pre-ground coffee. I would recommend for cold brew using something fruity, something light, something with a little bit of acidity because you don't pull much acidity out, like an Ethiopian coffee or a Kenya. I find African coffees work really, really well for cold brew. And this Hario system is really simple to use. You get your bottle and you fill it about 3/4 full with cold water. You get your filter, you put your ground coffee in the net, you screw the lid back on like that. There's a set of lugs inside there. Can you see them? Just at the top and the bottom. You screw those onto the top of your cold brew bottle like so, and then you dump it in your water. And this is always a little bit of a heart sink moment as I realise the water level is rising, and unless the coffee gets wet, I'm not actually going to get all my coffee in, and then it goes, and it's fine. Have faith, trust it, it's okay. And that is how you make Hario cold brew. You can give it a bit of a shimmy if you really want, and then you dump that in the fridge and leave it there for about 16 hours. You can get blends of roast and ground coffee that are specifically designed for cold brew. The blend has been created to be really good with cold brew. The roast has been created especially to extract properly at cold temperatures. And the grind size is perfect for extracting over 16 hours as a cold brewed coffee as well. If you can find one of those coffees on the high street, I highly recommend it. Rebecca, great question. Does it matter what coarseness you grind to? If you're using pre-ground, you've got no choice. So you use whatever grind they've sent you. Usually filter ground coffees, I would leave them in for something like 16 to 20 hours to brew. If you can find some of the cold brews that are specially designed for cold brew, there are 1 or 2 brands out on the market. Follow the instructions on the pack, 16 hours. The key to cold brew is not to leave it too long, because if you leave it for 24 hours, you tend to start getting a bit of bitterness out of it. So I would recommend less time, not more. So there is your Hario cold brew. You don't have to be that sophisticated though. If you have a simple cafetiere, this one was about a tenner from IKEA, then you can make cold brew in your cafetiere. So again, I've got my same pre-ground coffee. I've pre-weighed it out to the bottom half of an IKEA cheese grater. IKEA are not sponsoring this, by the way, but if you want to, I love Swedish things. So I've weighed out 50 grams of coffee into that, and now I'm just going to fill it up. So I'm going to pop that on my trusty scales. You don't need any particular equipment to do this beyond your cafetiere, so you just need some kind of vessel to pour from. I'm using a gravy jug. I'll be really keen to see what kind of things people are brewing with. So show me what vessels you've got, show me your jugs. Let me see how you're brewing this. What I want to do is dump about 750ml of cold water into that. Morning, Voice. I'm just going to show you what I'm doing. Just dump water. I don't know why I'm giving you a tutorial on this. This is like super simple, and I thought I didn't have enough in there, so I've got a little bit extra. Perfect. 750ml, give it a quick stir so everything gets nice and wet. It is a bit harder to get everything wet when it's all cold like this, because for some reason the pores don't open so well. It can be a little bit more tricky, but it's still doable. Don't go too crazy, because if you stir this too much, you get a load of agitation in there, and it will interrupt what you're trying to achieve. And then loosely cover it with your plunger is fine. Stick that in your fridge for 16 hours, and then after your 16 hours, plunge it down. You're fine. Cold brew. Oh, I cleaned my grinder area this morning for you. So I know that yesterday I got a lot of judgment for my grinder cleanliness, but this morning I've cleaned it. You're a very good motivating factor for me. I am cleaning my grinder station on a daily basis now, just to make you people impressed. What do you do if you must have cold brew but you have no equipment whatsoever? You don't have a cafetiere, you don't have your Harrio brewer, there's nothing. Well, we default back to hipster first principles, and we get our mason jar. We get our clip top kilner. You put 750ml of cold water in it. You get your ground coffee, and for this one, I've gone for something a little bit fancy and a little bit special. A friend of mine, Aaron Steen, competed in the UK Barista Championship this year. He did extremely well, finished 10th. He was using a coffee from Ethiopia, from a place called Gesha Village. This is where the origin of the Gesha coffee that's so famous from Panama came from originally, and someone opened a farm there a little while ago to sell Ethiopian Gesha. It's naturally processed, so they pick the cherries, they dry them in the sun, and all of the fruit flavours and sweetness and body stays in the coffee, which makes it really, really tasty. So Aaron gifted me a bag of this coffee when he finished his competition. I thought this would make outstanding cold brew, and so I've ground this on the coarsest grind setting I can. Now, it's really hard to show grind setting, but I'm going to have a go. So have a look at this. Morning, Ken. I hope you're well. So here we go. This is my grind setting for this. My grinder is not uniform particle size by any stretch of the imagination, but it does do a pretty decent job, and I get tasty coffee from it. So I'm happy enough with that. That is the coarsest grind setting I've got. Morning, Charlotte. Nice to see you. Think of it as like sea salt, maybe like the really coarsest kind of demerara sugar. It's probably a little bit coarser than that, to be honest, and that's as coarse as I can get my grind to go. I've got 100 grams in here, which feels like a lot of coffee, but trust me, this is going to make a double concentrated thing, which means we can then use it for espresso martinis. So we pour this in. Oh, hang on a minute. There we go. Okay, and then you'll see we've got this beautiful kind of cascading waterfall effect where the bottom grinds are just drifting slowly down to the bottom, and it's like watching chocolate rain. Look at that, isn't that gorgeous? What a beautiful thing. Anyway, best thing to do is break up that beautiful thing, get it dumped in, get it nice and soggy, and then later on we'll show you how to get this back out of here and filtered. So now you have this big sludgy mess of coffee, which is just going to brew. Flip your clip top. There we go. Dump that in the fridge as well. I mean, we are going to have a lot of cold brew to drink later. So, there we are. Nice brief video this morning. What I'm going to do tonight, I'm going to make Irish coffees. So, if you can brave the panic buying, if you are safe and legal to go outside and buy yourself some double cream, please do so. You don't want the really, really thick stuff that won't move. You need something that will flow slightly, medium viscosity. Single cream probably won't work though, sorry to break it to you. Good whipping cream will work. I'm going to be using Longley Farm whipping cream. Double cream will work as well. So, 7 o'clock tonight, back on Facebook Live. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a couple of Irish coffees. Maybe, here's one I made earlier as an ingredient. We might get an ice cold Irish coffee. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how the cold brew looks later on today. So come back tonight, come back about 7 o'clock, and what we'll do is we'll make some Irish coffees together, we'll have a bit of a chat, we'll talk about Irish coffee, we'll talk about coffee cocktails, I will answer as many questions as I can. I will try and do it at a pace where people can keep up at home. So get yourself some double cream, don't get too much, everyone else needs some, so don't go and buy 10 bottles of double cream, buy one. I've got one small bottle of double cream and that will be enough. So just get enough double cream for what you need. Come back this evening. You need 4 ingredients. You'll need whiskey, you will need cream, you will need sugar, and you will need coffee. If you are in access of a local coffee roaster who can still supply, or a coffee shop that's doing bike deliveries, if you're in Bristol, for example, go and get yourself something nice. Something like a naturally processed coffee would work really, really well for this, so do that. I'm really looking forward to coming back on again tonight and doing my Irish coffees. In the meantime, keep your chins up, it's the weekend, we've got a beautiful day ahead of us, we've got time to do all of those dull things around the house that we never normally get time to do, and now is our opportunity. So, have a great day, I'll see you tonight, everything is awesome!